Okay, let's dive right into this. Think for a second about the engine that practically runs your entire body. That's your digestive system. And yet, despite how absolutely crucial it is, we constantly brush off its earliest distress signals. Well, today's explainer is going to focus entirely on the 5 critical warning signs of stomach distress. These are literal biological cries for help that our bodies send us. So we're going to take a journey from the very top of the digestive tract all the way down to the bottom.
Tell me, have you ever felt that sudden, sharp pain in your gut? Because when severe inflammation strikes, it isn't just some dull ache fading into the background. Your stomach lining is practically sounding a fiery red alarm. This heightened immune response sends an absolute flood of blood and inflammatory mediators straight to the affected tissue. And that's exactly what causes that intense, radiating heat and discomfort. When your stomach hits this point, it's literally raising a massive red flag, telling you the mucosa lining is compromised. But how do we even get to this point of undeniable internal distress in the first place?
To figure that out, we're going to use a diagnostic checklist of 5 crucial warning signs. We'll start at the top with acid reflux, move down through bloating and nausea, and then finally reach intestinal disruptions and a total loss of appetite. Let's uncover exactly what's going on under the surface when your digestion goes sideways. All right, so our first major warning sign at the top of the digestive tract is acid reflux. Now, be honest, most of us just casually brush this off as everyday heartburn, don't we? We feel that digestive acid creeping upward, escaping the stomach, and we just assume it's the price we pay for a heavy meal. But treating it as a minor inconvenience ignores the very real, critical mechanical failure that's actually happening behind the scenes. And this brings us to the actual biology of the problem, a failure in the lower esophageal sphincter. So this is a delicate little valve separating your stomach and your esophagus. Its entire job is to open for food and then securely lock shut right after. But when that valve relaxes at the wrong time, or if it mechanically weakens, it fails to close properly. And that allows harsh, highly acidic gastric fluids to wash right back up into the esophagus. And this brilliantly illustrates why this is so dangerous. You see, these delicate esophageal tissues were frankly never built to handle that kind of extreme pH level. Understanding this exact biological mechanism really helps us realize why it burns so incredibly badly. I mean, it's an active chemical burn occurring inside your body, which is exactly why chronic reflux is something you absolutely shouldn't ignore.
Moving down the anatomical line, warning sign number 2 is visible stomach swelling and trapped gas right after eating, which is better known to all of us as bloating. And it's vital to recognize that this isn't just a subjective feeling of being heavy or stuffed after a big meal. No, this is a literal, physical, structural expansion happening right inside your gut. Now, what's really interesting here is the actual microbial chemistry behind that expansion. You see, bloating often kicks in due to sluggish digestion. When things slow down, the gut bacteria in your small intestine are left to ferment undigested carbohydrates. That fermentation process rapidly releases a massive buildup of specific trapped gases, namely hydrogen and methane. Just think about that chemical buildup for a second. These trapped gases put immense physical strain on your internal organs and the surrounding abdominal wall. It's an incredibly common issue, for sure,
But realizing the mechanics of it emphasizes just how much literal pressure your digestive tract is under when severe bloating strikes. You're essentially blowing up a balloon inside a very confined biological space. And that immense pressure often triggers our next symptom. Warning sign number 3 takes this discomfort completely system-wide: nausea. This right here is your body's ultimate, undeniable alarm bell. It rings loud and clear when the upper digestive processes fundamentally stall out, or if your system detects a harmful internal irritant. But how does your brain actually know what your stomach is feeling? Well, it's through the vagus nerve. Think of this as a high-speed broadband connection linking your gut directly to your brain. This rapid nerve signaling essentially tells the brain's vomiting center that the digestive system is actively rejecting what's inside. The communication is instantaneous, totally bypassing any conscious thought on your end. Now, nausea is a deeply, deeply unpleasant sensation. We all know that. But biologically speaking, it's a highly evolved protective mechanism in action. It physically forces you to stop moving, stop eating, and focus entirely on the crisis at hand. Your body is essentially hijacking your behavior to protect you from further harm. Let's move along and see how this builds further down the tract. We hit warning sign number 4. Intestinal disruptions. Because, let's face it, stomach distress rarely stays isolated just in the stomach. A top-level problem almost always cascades down, throwing the entire lower engine totally out of rhythm. What we're really looking at here is a severe mechanical failure in something called peristalsis. Now, peristalsis is just a fancy word for the involuntary muscle contractions of your gut. These contractions are supposed to be smooth and rhythmic, pushing food through the system like a well-oiled conveyor belt. But when distress hits, this mechanism completely breaks down. And this failure results in 2 extreme mechanical contrasts. On one end of the spectrum, those involuntary contractions can dramatically slow down, drawing way too much water out of the waste and causing a complete internal gridlock. That's constipation. On the flip side, irritated intestines can go into chaotic overdrive, pushing everything through far too quickly to even absorb nutrients or water, which gives you diarrhea. 2 completely opposite extremes stemming from the exact same mechanical disruption. Which brings us to the climax of our anatomical journey. The 5th and final warning sign: a total loss of appetite. Imagine you've got a beautifully prepared, highly nutritious meal sitting right in front of you, but your brain simply shuts off the desire to take even a single bite. This isn't just you being picky. This is an involuntary, system-wide shutdown orchestrated by the gut-brain axis. The biological culprit here is ghrelin, your primary hunger hormone. When your digestive system is compromised by severe inflammation, harsh escaping acid, or deeply trapped gas, your body actively suppresses the release of ghrelin. It literally just turns off the hunger switch. Why does it do this? Because your compromised system is basically demanding a physiological timeout. It's an involuntary defense mechanism. It stops new food intake so it can redirect all its energy entirely toward healing and stabilizing the existing disruption in your gut. Your body knows it just can't process more fuel while the engine is on fire. But hey, we aren't just going to leave you holding your stomach in pain.
When these 5 warning signs start flashing concurrently, or if they become a chronic issue, it's time to pivot from reactive distress to proactive wellness. We need to decode these signals, not just guess and slap on temporary over-the-counter Band-Aids that completely ignore the root causes.
Consulting a medical professional is the absolutely crucial next step here. Modern healthcare providers have amazing, advanced diagnostic tools at their disposal today. From endoscopies to incredibly detailed internal imaging, these tools allow them to literally look under the hood and pinpoint exactly where your unique digestive engine is misfiring. They can map out these complex biological signals, turn them into a concrete, actionable diagnosis, and ensure you get targeted treatment.
So the crucial point is following this straightforward path to relief. Step 1. Just like we discussed, consult a medical expert to get a precise diagnosis tailored to your specific symptoms. Step 2. Once that immediate distress is managed, focus on a nutritious recovery. Prioritize fresh, easily digestible whole foods, things like non-acidic fruits and vegetables, to really help rebuild a healthy, balanced gut microbiome. And step 3, actively stay educated. Subscribing for more health tips empowers you to understand your biology and keeps your body's most important engine running smoothly.
All of this leads me to a final, really important thought for you today. We've traced the biological journey today from the fiery red flags of severe inflammation and the mechanical failure of acid reflux, all the way down to the chaotic gridlock of the lower intestines. These aren't just abstract concepts, they're literal biological mechanics happening inside you right now. Your gut is a complex engine, constantly communicating with you, sending signals about exactly what it needs to thrive. So the very next time your stomach speaks up with one of these 5 signs, will you know how to listen? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and here's to taking charge of your well-being.